Afternoon, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. What I thought we'd do today is delve into our In the Shadow of Nessmuk series a little bit deeper. We're going to take a kit that's not a really expensive kit in that it doesn't have a lot of the modern ultralight implements within the kit, but it still weighs well under 30 pounds. I think it's right around 25. And it gives us plenty of stuff to do a solid overnight in temperatures down into the high 30s, middle 40s, something like that, with more than enough food for even a couple, 3 days if we wanted to do so. Real quick, one caveat for this video. I'm going to be using the River Country Trucker 2 tent. I know this tent has a lot of bad press in certain areas of the YouTube community, and certain reviewers have said it's trash, and it may very well be trash. I've never tried it before. I spent my own money to buy it. It was 50 bucks. I wanted some low budget type thing that I could go out here and do an overnighter that wouldn't break the bank as far as weight goes or my wallet. It's not Cuban fiber. It's not 300, 400, 500 bucks. It's 50 bucks. So I don't expect it to be perfect for that money by any means. However, it's not supposed to rain tonight, so I'm not going to be able to test that portion of the tent itself. I'm going to leave it set where I camp tonight because it's supposed to rain the next couple of days. I'm going to see how well it holds water without any proofing at all. I haven't done any waterproofing, seam sealing, nothing to the tent. But we're going to see how it sleeps tonight just in and of itself, see how it sets up, see how durable it looks like it might be. This is not a review of the tent, so don't get me wrong. This is not a review of any type of gear necessarily. I'm going to introduce you to a couple pieces of gear that I'm using, but that's not saying, hey, you need to go out and buy this. What it is this is what I'm testing on this overnight trip in this Shadow of the Nessmuk series. Stay with me, guys. So I thought we might kind of go over what's in this bag before we set up camp. And I weighed the bag, you saw that, it's 24 pounds-ish. And that is probably enough for 3 days camping. So you can get down pretty lightweight. You're gonna see that some of the stuff that I'm using in this kit is not what most people consider lightweight stuff. The tent that I'm gonna use is River Country Products 2-man tent. And it is 3 pounds according to the website. I weighed it today without the stakes and it was 2.56 pounds, something like that without the stakes. So it's not what would be considered ultralight compared to like a Dyneema Cuban fiber or something like that, but for the price, 50 bucks, it's pretty hard to beat that as long as it doesn't leak. We'll find that out in the long run here. I have heard some complaints about it leaking, but I've also heard that they fixed that problem. So we're going to try that tent, see how it works. I've got titanium stakes. I've removed the stakes that came with this tent. They're gone. I carry titanium stakes in the top of my bag all the time for any shelter that I'm using. So I'm just going to use those stakes. That saves me from putting extra weight in the bag. So I have a titanium shovel in here, and this came from the Russian Federation, and I've got some of these en route to the US right now. Should be here in a couple of weeks to sell them on our website. I've been using this one for a while now, and I'm pretty convinced that it's a good tool to have if you're not carrying an axe, or if you want to forego carrying an axe because you're camping in flat areas where you're going to be using fuel. It's not going to cause you to process wood and things like that. This shovel comes in really, really handy. Right now I'm just going to put my knee on it and use it for a kneeling pad. So we've got our tent here and our stakes. Opening up the main part of the bag here first, we have a food bag with 3 to 4 days worth of food in it. We have a full Trangia cookset. Again, I said, you know, a lot of this stuff's not considered ultralight, but we're still at 24 pounds, under 25 anyway. We have an X-Bed sleeping pad as part of our shelter system, and then a Swagman roll in black. good for holding in heat, transferring heat, things like that. So between the shelter, the swag, and the mat, that is my shelter system in completion for the weather that I'm facing right now. I would switch the Swagman rollout for a down quilt, over quilt, if we're going to be down below freezing or close to freezing. Food bag, cook system, that's all that's in the main compartment, other than an extra grill, all right? And I probably will not even end up using that. I have my Grail for disinfecting water on the run and using it around camp. On the other side, I have a Silky Big Boy. Again, if I've got to process anything, cut trees, cut poles for my shelter, things like that, that Silky Big Boy really gets the job done in quick fashion. And then on the front of this pack, I have a pouch that contains a ditty bag, which has got all my small accoutrements in it, from charging to repair to first aid. All those types of things are in this small ditty bag. We can go over the contents of this in another video. And then beside that, I have the fuel and the stove for the Trangia cookset. I've brought both alcohol and a gas stove out here so I can kind of walk through that Trangia cookset with you today. It's something that I don't use a lot of times on videos, but it is a very good system if you're car camping, or even if you take components of this kit that nest together very much like Nessmuk spoke to his kit nesting together. You can make that a lot lighter than the complete system is, especially if you're using fire for the system instead of using the alcohol stove or a gas stove. Then I have a mat bag in here that has my mat, my protractor, and all that good stuff in it. And then the top pocket of this pack had my tent stakes in it. Always things I can get to right away are in there that I need to get to fast. I've got a small hygiene kit here. Again, we can go over the contents of some of these kits down the road. I have a toiletry kit here with just a deuce of spades and some wipes. And then I have a 6-foot utility cord for hanging my pack off a tree if the need arises for that as well. And that is the contents of that pack laid out. I actually brought some plastic stakes out here today that I got from Atwood Rope, that people get our paracord from. Made in the USA, ABS tent stakes. I've got some orange ones and I've got a few black ones here. I'm gonna, kind of a groundhog type of stake. I was gonna try these out today and see how they work compared to, obviously titanium is gonna be lighter. This is really soft ground out here, so maybe these thicker, heavier stakes will hold the tent down to the ground better. We'll find out. The way this thing's made is made to put a trekking pole right here. But I've cut this notch so that I can just pull it up to that and then stake it out. Okay, this thing seems to have pretty solid zippers. Probably could use a coat of fixing wax on those dudes, but they seem to run really easy. I like the way this thing ties off. You actually have a toggle here, and you have a loop here and a loop on the outside here. So you can actually roll this down here, and you can toggle it to here. And then if you wanted to, you could also roll this net here, this direction, and come across and toggle it from the back side like this to hold both the doors open at the same time. Or you can, again, you can drop one or the other, easy enough. You can drop that bug netting down and close that off, keep anything out of your tent during the day, and then open both door flaps to let the breeze in there. And you've got those side vent panels, which gives you 2 layers there. I really like that as well. So we'll see how she works and if she leaks and see how she goes. But right now it seems like a pretty nice little tent. So let's get the inside set up and get our air mattress in there and whatnot. We'll be ready to go. But it's only supposed to get down around 40 tonight, so that Swagman roll will be plenty. And this X-Bed mat's got a repair kit in the bag. Really, it's a pretty good system. I like it really well. I've used it pretty extensively overseas. It's fairly lightweight. It's easy to roll up and it's easy to put up. And so you just put your hands on here, covering up the hole every time. And you're just continually pumping air into the mattress this way. Just by placing your hands over the air chamber, letting air in and then closing the air off with your palm. And it takes a good 5 minutes to air this thing up. But it's a small price to pay, really, when it comes to the comfort level and the R value that this mattress has. So there you go, all said and done. You got a nice wide, long mattress. And if you put it inside here, it takes up the majority of the length of this 7-foot long tent. You've got a little bit of room on both sides, but not a ton. We'll sleep over on this side, I believe. Rock and roll. All right, so the Swagman roll is probably one of my favorite pieces of kit ever, because it can be a sleeping bag, it can be a quilt, it can be an underquilt, or it can be just a normal blanket. It is nice and warm. I carry mine just about everywhere I go, all the time. It's got a zipper here that you can zip it all the way around if you want to make a sleeping bag out of it, if that's your fancy. I generally just close that in for a toe box and open the rest of it up over the top of me. That's generally the way I use it, to be honest with you. Throw that dude on the inside. I generally take all my bags and put them in one bag, like a tent bag. So my air mattress bag, my tent stake bag, Swagman roll bag, all that kind of stuff just goes in one main bag, in this case the tent bag. And I just throw all that in the front corner of the tent so I don't misplace where it's at. So I thought maybe while we were sitting here, we'd have a conversation real quick about this Trangia cookset. Now, like I said, this is heavy. You're probably talking 4 pounds of weight-ish, maybe a little more than that. But the point is, it's very modular, and it could be broken down into smaller components if that's what you chose to do to make things lighter. And it will burn both an alcohol stove, the way it's set up, or a fuel stove. I'm going to show you both. So you've got this hard case. Again, you wouldn't need to carry this case. It just protects the cookset, and it can be carried easily in a car kit if that's what you're doing. You can easily carry this case in your vehicle. And if you were just backpacking this thing, you could simply carry the entire cook set if you chose to do that without the case, and that would drop a little bit of weight. But it does protect everything. Now, this one is a brand new set. I have an older set in my equipment shed, but Trangia was nice enough to send me a brand new 27. My 27 set has a red skillet. I think it's from the 70s, and everything is fully aluminum. This is anodized aluminum in this particular kit. So we're going to use this kit to kind of talk about today. And this is the old strap off of one of my other cook sets. I just like it because it's black. But what you have here is you have, first of all, a skillet that is anodized, and it's got like a Teflon coating in it. In this one, this is an add-on, but I have went ahead and put the accessory here that's used for a cutting board or straining device, and it's got an area where you can actually grab it with the pot holder if you want to, while that lid is on it. But it gives you a cutting board, a strainer, and things like that, so it doesn't weigh very much to carry. I like that accessory. And then this is something that I just added in. This is a copy of an old German mess kit spoon and fork, and this one is aluminum, so it's very lightweight. I just throw it in the top. And then this is actually the Trangia handle for lifting the skillet and the pots, which works out really, really well. Again, it's lightweight aluminum. Now, back to that shadow of Nessmuk and that whole ultra light but stackable and things like that. This kit is very, very compartmentalized. On the very inner part of this kit, I have a small tea kettle. And in that kettle is the yellow bag that contains the alcohol stove, all right? The actual Trangia alcohol stove. So it can be carried within this kit so that you can cook on the stove if that's what you choose to do. You can also forego that and carry gas if you'd like. We'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. The cool thing about the way this alcohol setup is, Trangia has a really nice container that they make that holds your extra alcohol. And there's lots of bottles on the market. I even sell one on my website. That's just a plastic bottle to carry your fuel in for your alcohol stove. The unique thing with this one is, in my mind, is that first of all, the lid locks down so that nothing can come out of it. It's a very, very robust, heavy-duty container. And you loosen the screw on this, and when you do that, it allows you to push a release button, which will allow liquid to pour in either direction that you tilt the bottle out of that spout. And then you can lock it back down so that it can't be depressed and no fuel leaks out of the bottle. So if you're carrying extra fuel for your alcohol stove, very convenient way to do that. Back to this cook set. I also have an anodized saucer in here. There's actually two of them that nest inside of each other. So you actually have a pot and you have a bowl, or you have two pots or two bowls that you can eat out of that also stack inside this kit with the kettle inside of them, just like that. And then you get to the main part of the cook system, the Trangia system itself. And what you have here is you have two pieces for this, and we'll take this belt completely out of here. And the way this is made is it's made to accept the Trangia stove. So you would take your alcohol stove and you would place it here, and then you would take a windscreen and set it on top and lock it in, and it's locked in that way. And then you can either flip these in or out. And so if you flip them out, it's made to hold the skillet. If you flip them down, it's made to hold the pots, and it will hold either one. So you have two different ways that you can use that. They also make a rack that will fit inside of here. I have as well that I didn't bring with me because it is a little heavier because it's made of steel. That sits inside there in zigzag fashion to give you a grate that you can set off-size pots in, like your bush pot or something like that, your bush pot cup if you wanted to. And then, again, you can just flip these up for the skillet. When you're done with this, you just unscrew it and take it off, and everything nests inside again like it came apart. The other thing that you can do here, besides using this for an alcohol stove, is it's also set up to be used with a gas fuel stove. I have a stove here by Trangia. I put it in a different container so that I could actually carry the fuel bottle and a lighter with the stove. So I've got a large fuel container here and a lighter. But the way this is made is you drop your control valve down through this hole, just like this, and the burner actually snaps in to the top, just like that. Turn it sideways so it's locked in. And then you have a burner that you can connect to a bottle of gas like this. Spin that dude on there. And then you can light that burner. Put the windscreen on top. Lock it down, and you're ready to cook over the burner. But I think that this kit can be very adaptable and can be used in several ways around camp. And for the weight of it, like I said, you could forego certain pieces and parts. You could take out one of the bowls and leave one bowl in there. You could take out the kettle, or you could put the kettle in there and no bowls, or the kettle in there and one bowl. You could, forego having the stove and just go with alcohol. All right, guys, well, here we are for the night, tucked in. Got the old swagman roll around us here, and we're good to go there. Wearing my beanie. I always wear a beanie usually if it's going to be chilly at night. It just keeps my head warm. It comes out from underneath the blankets, things like that. It keeps my ears warm. Always a good idea to have that with your base layer. Keep you nice and warm, even on a colder night. So we will talk with you guys in the morning. See ya. Man, I should have stayed in bed a little longer. But time change makes it an hour different than it was yesterday or the day before. Time changed yesterday, right? Yeah, time changed yesterday. So now it's 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. So it's time to get up and get around. Well, it got a little colder last night than I anticipated it getting, but it wasn't too bad. It's getting warm enough now that the mosquitoes are coming out a little bit during the day and in the evening, but then when it cools down, they're gone. I tell you, a good base layer and something decent to sleep on to battle that conduction, a nice pad like this X-Bed, and you pretty much got it made as long as you got something to cover up with. The swagman roll worked pretty well last night. Like I said, it was a little chillier than I thought it was going to be. Probably could have went with the down quilt and it would have been fine, but it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. Yesterday we went ahead and used the gas stove on this Trangia cookset. Today I wanted to go ahead and use the alcohol stove. We'll pull this dude off, put it back in the bag here. But I want to kind of gauge the difference in heating time between the alcohol stove itself and the gas. And sometimes the problem with this, especially if you're using like yellow heat, is it's really hard to see the flame light up. You don't know if you've got it lit or not. But I can feel it, it's hot. Put my windscreen on there. And you'll be able to hear it too. Heat up enough for a cup of coffee here this morning. Unfortunately, the supply of these is pretty difficult in the U.S. We're carrying Helicon Tech on our website. Obviously, I'm an ambassador for Helicon Tech. That's not secret knowledge. But even I have a hard time getting stock. Right now we've got the black and we've got the adaptive green, and I didn't think I was going to like the black as well as I like the Coyote, but since I've been using the black, I kind of like it better, just for heat transfer sake and things like that. And this setup here works real well. Truckology pillow on top of the X-Bed mattress. Don't ever kid yourself. The pillow is definitely something that will help you get a good night's sleep on the trail, and that's important. You know, this Truckology pillow folds down so small that it just, you can't hardly know that that thing is definitely worth carrying with you. And here's the thing, you know, we weighed all this stuff yesterday on camera, and 25 pounds is what I've got with me. And I've got plenty of stuff to keep me more than comfortable at those temperatures that we were at last night, which was probably in the very low 40s if I had to guess. So just in the time it's taken us to put that Swagman roll away and get our Truckology pillow put back, our water's already rocking and rolling, ready for coffee. All right, guys, well, I appreciate you joining me for this video today. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Check out my links down below in the description box for both Self-Reliance Outfitters and my Amazon store. I'm just trying to look at different types of products that maybe I haven't looked at in the past, or something that may not break the bank if you're trying to find something semi-lightweight to backpack into the woods and camp for a night or two or three. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.